Have you ever noticed that pain doesn't always stay in one spot? Maybe your shoulder feels tight, but stretching it never really fixes it. Maybe your lower back flares up even though the pain seems to move around. Or maybe you constantly feel stiff no matter how much mobility work you do. What if the issue isn't just the muscles or joints themselves, but the system connecting everything together? That system is called fascia. And over the last several years, fascia research has completely changed how many clinicians, movement specialists, and performance coaches think about movement, coordination, tension, and even pain itself. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Lance Baumgard with Mobility Co Wellness. Today we're diving into the fascial system, sometimes called the fascial web or connective tissue network, and why understanding this system may completely change the way you think about the human body. Researchers and educators on the fascial system have helped bring more attention to the idea that the body doesn't really function as isolated parts. Instead, the body behaves more like one interconnected system, constantly adapting to movement, stress, load, recovery, posture, breathing, and environment. And the fascinating thing is, fascia may play a much larger role in movement quality, proprioception, coordination, and tissue sensitivity than most people realize. So what exactly is fascia? The easiest way to think about fascia is as a continuous three-dimensional web that exists throughout the entire body. It surrounds and connects muscles, tendons, ligaments, nerves, blood vessels, organs, and even individual muscle fibers. It's not just one isolated structure, it's everywhere. And instead of the body functioning like separate mechanical parts, fascia helps create continuity between regions. This is one reason movement in one area can influence tension or motion somewhere completely different. Modern fascia research has also shown that fascia is highly sensory tissue, meaning it doesn't just provide structure, it also helps relay information throughout the body, which is important because your nerve system is constantly interpreting information from tissues to help coordinate movement, stability, and body awareness. One of the most interesting roles fascia may play involves proprioception. And proprioception is essentially your body's awareness system. It's your ability to know where your body is in space without needing to look. For example, walking down the stairs, reacting during sports, balancing on one foot, or even adjusting posture automatically while standing. These processes happen incredibly fast, and fascia appears to play a role because it contains sensory receptors that help provide feedback to the nervous system, which means movement isn't just about strength, it's also about communication. Your body is constantly gathering information and adapting based on the quality of movement experiences it receives. This is one reason repetitive stress, lack of movement variability, injury history, prolonged sitting, or chronic tension patterns may eventually influence the way the body moves and responds over time. One concept that becomes really interesting when studying fascia is something called regional interdependence. In simple terms, sometimes the area that hurts isn't necessarily the only area involved. Now, the body is connected through chains of tension, force transfer, and movement patterns. And Thomas Myers' anatomy trains model helped popularize this idea by mapping fascial continuities or fascial meridians throughout the body. For example, limitations through the foot and calf may influence the knee or hip. Reduced rib cage movement may influence the shoulders and neck. Stiffness in the hips may eventually change loading patterns into the lower back. Now, that doesn't mean fascia is the sole cause of pain. Pain is complex. It involves the nervous system, stress, sleep, recovery capacity, previous injuries, movement tolerance, lifestyle factors, and a whole host of other variables. But understanding fascia gives us a better appreciation for why the body often behaves as an integrated system rather than isolated parts. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is believing that they need to aggressively force tissues to loosen up. But many times the body responds better to variability, controlled loading, movement options, and gradual adaptation. So generally speaking, the body tends to respond well to regular movement, walking, strength training, mobility work, hydration, breathing mechanics, sleep, and progressive exposure to movement. The human body is incredibly adaptable. Fascia remodels over time based on the demands consistently placed on it, which means movement quality and consistency often matter far more than constantly chasing temporary relief. Your body craves movement diversity. It's not just the intensity. If you find this video helpful, make sure that to like, subscribe, or share this with someone dealing with reoccurring tightness, stiffness, or pain. And if you're in the Highlands Ranch, Littleton, or South Denver areas and looking for movement-based chiropractic care, dry needling, mobility work, or fascially focused treatment, check out Mobility Co Wellness. I'll leave the links below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.